Rocker JCC back again today to review one of my favorite albums of all time, Daft Punk's Discovery. Now this is technically my second favorite Daft Punk album. Alive 2007's freaking perfect, but it's not a legit studio album. So this is my favorite studio album of theirs, and pretty much in my top 5 albums ever. This album is one of those that never really had to grow on me. From first listen, I absolutely loved it. Going into it, I had only really heard the first couple tracks on here, which are the singles, One More Time, Aerodynamic, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. And with a lot of albums, that's really all you get in terms of really, really awesome songs. But not with this one. Every track on here is absolutely fantastic. It's really cohesive, but it's diverse enough for it to be interesting. And its production is magnificent. And on top of that, it's catchy as fuck. Let's get into the tracks on this thing. First track, One More Time. Absolute club banger that makes you want to dance your ass off. And that's not the only banger on here. High Life, Crescendos, Too Long, Superheroes. They all just make me want to fist pump like a champ and pop a molly and sweat. Woo! And then there's the serious pieces like Virtus Quo and Night Vision, which are some good instrumentals. And then there's the ballady-ish pop tracks like Something About Us and Face to Face that just make me want to get angry and inspired and go to the club and fist pump like a champ and pop a molly and sweat. Woo! It's kind of hard to classify the tracks on Discovery as either serious or fun because they're all a hybrid. Really, the serious moments make you want to dance, and the dancey moments make you want to dance for a purpose, if that makes sense. It's what makes this album what it is, really. It's Daft Punk's masterpiece. Discovery just takes you on a journey, and if you let it take you away. I sound like a hippie trying to get you to do shrooms. So, before I get caught up in my passion enough, any more than I already have, I'm just gonna talk about some cool things I like about this album. One thing I always liked about this album is the songwriting on here, and bear with me if you've heard this, you might not understand why it's songwriting, but I know it's not the deepest lyricism in the world by far, but that's why it works. It uses the simplest and most accessible emotions and just amplifies them for maximum effect. Tracks like Something About Us, Face to Face, and Digital Love tell these simple, vague-ish stories of love that anyone can relate to. Broken Heart, Something About Us. Messy Breakup, Face to Face. Infatuation, Digital Love. And it does this without overkill. The lyrics are often overshadowed by the production. Really, like on Digital Love, the cheesiness of the lyrics, and yeah, they're really cheesy. It isn't that much of a problem because the last 2/3 of the song is nothing but killer production that has this awesome guitar, bagpipe almost solo. It's very interesting. You just gotta check that out. Like I said, it's overshadowed by the production a lot, so the simple lyrics aren't that much trouble because they're around just enough to have effect, but not to be annoying. Other songs with lyrics on here that aren't that deep would be like Too Long, One More Time. They feature these really simple club-ready lyrics. Nothing emotional, but it's extremely simplistic, and that's what makes club tracks like those work. Repetition and simplicity. And speaking of repetition, the tracks High Life, Crescendos, and Superheroes utilize it to the max. They all feature these like chopped up vocal samples that are just looped. One of them's a Barry Manilow sample, if I'm correct on that. And sometimes this approach can get annoying on like a lot of other releases, but I don't really see that here. First off, these tracks aren't that lengthy, and every electronic act has suffered from extremely long, unnecessarily long tracks, even Daft Punk at some point in their careers, but not on here at all. Secondly, there's more going on than just the samples on those tracks. The background accompaniment varies and keeps things interesting, as with every track on here does. Really, there's always interesting melodies and rhythms and sounds going on, and I like to think that every time I listen to a Daft Punk album, especially this one and their live albums, that I pick up on something else every time I hear it. You'll be surprised how much depth is hidden in the simplest of tracks. And that's why I love this album so much. It's simplistic depth at its finest. The tracks stick in your head after one listen, and you get something new from every additional listen. Listening to Discovery, at least from my perspective, it's an extremely rewarding experience on every level. Emotionally, sonically, funly. This album's perfect to me, pretty much. And that's why it's one of my favorite albums ever, really. So definitely do yourself a favor and listen to this if you haven't for some reason. The Spotify link is in the description, as always. I mean, even if dance music isn't your thing, per se, it wasn't my thing when I first got into Daft Punk, in all honesty. But, if it's not your thing, still, please listen to it, because it hits on so many more levels than just simple, dance, electronic music. There's pop songs on here, there's cool production. I mean, Kanye West sample on this thing. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's just a lot that this album offers, and you should definitely check it out. For Rocker JCC. I just say for Rocker JCC. Anyway, I'm Rocker JCC. Peace out.